And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you as I do every day during the week and sometimes during the weekend, as in this weekend was a full packed weekend with Photoville. It was absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed my time with Photoville, and we got to interview some people, I said other photographers. And so you have not seen, I am definitely going to share it with you. I'm definitely going to share it with you this morning. So that way you can see what I was able to accomplish yesterday and Saturday. It was also stormy here in New York City. And yes, I am, again, for those that don't know, I am in the middle of renovations. So I should not, painting. And I am here in my bedroom while the painters are working on the other side of the house. And so I am so glad to be with you guys today. Hope you're all doing well. And let's get some hellos in there. Also, I'm doing setting up the Instagram folks and see what the Instagram folks are. They're gonna pop in here today. Let's see. Okay. So welcome. Hey, Jamel Shabazz in the building. Speaking of the gentleman from yesterday, and I'm going to share some footage from yesterday. It was absolutely great. And but let me just get these Instagrammers in here as I speak, as I share. And what a beautiful day. Well, today is the rain is misty out. It's a misty morning, humid, but it's not hot. So here we are. And if you're in the building, make sure you hit the like. If you are in the building, make sure you hit the like. And first person in the building today is our wonderful Brian Young. I gotta get more cheers. I gotta get one of the sound effects I need to get is cheers. And also for the silver is Jazzy. Jazz is in the building. Good morning, beautiful people, she says. And we have here in the bronze. Whoa, the bronze goes to Lisa. Morning, everyone. Happy Monday. And then, yes, Jamel Shabazz says, Grand Rising family. And Chris also is in the building. Chris R says, good morning. And Dr. Tachi says, good morning, all. And Elise says, good morning, everyone. And Kelly says, good morning, everyone. And I'm going to, there's a lot in the news. Which direction should I go first? Let's talk about LA. And then we'll go in, because I want us to go out on a good note and I'll start with the rough stuff for the morning. And I will send an invitation out to folks. I know Gwendolyn's on the road right now. And so let me send a couple of invites out just in case they want to chime in. And for the first half of this time together, I'm going to definitely do that because, let me see, Jazzy. Yep, Jazzy's in here. And Mr. B, and who else is in the building? I know. And I know he's busy. He's doing his work today, but I'll send it out just in case he wants to pop in later. So I have to do that. Send out some invitations. And good job. And so here we are. So what's happening in LA? What is happening in LA? Oh, hey, Kenneth Nelson. Hey, Bryson's in the building. He says, what's up, Ron? What's up, RLP fam? What's up, everybody? Happy BET Awards Day. Happy Money Making Monday, the day after the Tony Awards. Did your Tony Award winners win? And Kenneth Nelson's photo says, good morning, one and all. Yes. Chris says, I just turned from LA on Saturday. It was horrific. Don Lemon did some footage this morning. I had some footage set aside yesterday, and I was just appalled. The firing of weapon, those bombs, what do you call the pellets, hitting the Australian news person, trampling over a person with horses. Have you guys seen the footage? Have you guys seen the footage? Well, you know, I gotta cue it up. You're gonna have to be patient with me as I cue this up for you all, because I think Don Lennon put it together really well this morning. And so we're gonna use Don's from his show, and I tell you, it is horrific, and it doesn't. Well, no, it does make sense. We know what's going on. We know what's going on, and it's just horrible what is happening. And guys, this is the setup. This is the setup. What's going on in LA is the setup. They want to declare martial law. They want to do away with our rights. Let me just get this queued up. Don does it really well. Here he goes. Here we go. Let's get this all queued up. And you just have to see it. It's beyond just talking about it. You have to really see it. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, here we go. Let's get some presentation mode here. And so you can see what's going on, because this LA is the test ground. Test ground. If they could get away with this in LA, then watch Detroit, watch DC, watch New York, watch Houston. Notice something they all have in common. People of color, Black people, Spanish people, people of color. I want you to feast your eyes on this. And here we go. I'm going to share this with you all. This is from Don's from this morning. Here we go.
Kicking, stomping with a horse. Look, running over with a horse. Look, Billy Club. For what? What is this guy? Can't one of them jump off of the horse and apprehend him?
And then look at it.
Do they have to beat him like that?
They're just horrible. Horrible people.
And did they have to do that? Seriously. Run it back, please, Andy. Run it back. Look at this. Someone could have apprehended one of these officers that's walking. This man is laying on the ground. A kick and the horse laying on the ground.
Look at that. Well, how do you do that?
Are you with me?
These are evil people.
Again, I hate to keep bringing it up. What if they had done this to the January 6th criminals, insurrectionists, rioters?
Ugh.
The cruelty is the point. Thank you in the chat.
Did you guys see that? Oh, let me just end it. Hold on a second. Let me pop this. But did you guys see it? Was it on the screen? Did it show? Did it show? Was I able? Did you guys see that? Did it show up on the screen? Hold on a second. I thought. Yeah, it must have. You guys saw it, right? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. I see. Okay. Thank you, Jazzy. Thank you, Jazzy. Unbelievable. And they wonder why people don't like police officers. They wonder why. Now, I know there's some good ones out there. I know there's got to be maybe one or two. Maybe there's some. I mean, there's some good police officers out there. But when you see this, why is it that LA police officers always have to go to the bottom, trampling over a citizen? They forget, police officers in LA County forget that they work for the people. They work for the people. That guy that's on the ground is their client. Is their client. They forget. Police officers are here to serve. Serve. And I know the photographers out there are taking some of the photos I saw coming out from some of the photographers in LA. Took some amazing shots. But think about the new. I have to cue it up to get to the news reporter. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get to the news reporter. Let me get to the news reporter. Here we go. Let me get that up. Let me cue that up. This is because we got photographers, photojournalists. They're all out there. People from other countries. And this is what the rest of the world is seeing about America. Look at, wait till you see this. Look at this. Okay, here we go. It's on the screen. Okay, so it's there on the screen. Let me go there and share it for you guys. Let me share it.
Just play it back and then pause. There it is. Back up. He looks right at her. So look at him. He's aiming right for her. And there's you see the camera. He's got a camera and a microphone with a cord on it. Back it up and play it again. Now you tell me if you think this was an accident.
Has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
He shot directly at them. Directly at them. My mic was wireless, by the way. He looked at them and shot directly at them, and they got it on tape. Now, should he be prosecuted? What do you think should happen to him? He looked her, as we say, dead not in the face, because she, by the way,
her back is to him.
Her back was to him. Now, again,
no harm.
Look at it. Just
no harm. No harm. You shoot. You shoot when someone is coming at you aggressively. No, this is a news reporter. This is a news reporter. This is where we are. Jazzy says, they haven't forgotten. They don't care and never have. Think about this. Think about what you just saw. And think about what the world is seeing. Sorry for the sirens in the neighborhood. Right? Something is wrong. Think about the photographers that are doing their job, photographing the press, photographers, news people, journalists, getting shot at. And the question that is, you didn't see it, it's amazing that Trump is reacting this way. However, but did nothing on January 6th. Did nothing. 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 As they were marching to hang his vice president. No, nothing. What's the difference? We all know the difference. The color of the skin of those people. Think about it. For weeks, there have been marches all over the country, mostly white people. Most people of color stayed home. And there were no police anywhere. No police. No police anywhere. Anywhere. So definitely check out the footage. Everyone's covering it in LA. It's a disgrace. It's horrible. It just makes you angry. And Kamala, Biden, we all did, warned people that this was coming. And this is the test model. They're not going to stop here. There was no need to call 2,000 National Guards. Shoot, the LA police are doing a mock-up job all by themselves. So my prayers and my thoughts are going out for the photographers, photojournalists that are out there. They're out there doing their work, doing what they're called to do, to bring this to our attention. Wait a minute, I hear feet at the door, feet coming up the pathway. Oh, I hear it. Here it comes. Oh, yes. Oh, there's company coming today, y'all. There's company in the building. You will noise. Oh, the ladies are here. There they are. What's going on, Jazzy? What's going on, Elise?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Now, we're not going to negativity, but I just had to make sure it was something we addressed. And for any person that may be watching this, they stumble across this footage, they will say, wait, that happened this morning? That happened this weekend? That's why we're bringing it up. Okay?
All right.
Jazzy, Elise, what are y'all saying? What are you thinking?
Go ahead, Jazzy.
So, I think in this moment, right, when I'm seeing, I've been kind of avoiding social media lately,
Yes.
and the news, just because there's a lot of noise, right? And I think one of the things that we have to be careful of is allowing the noise that is out here to keep dividing us as a people. Because the rhetoric that I'm seeing a lot of right now is very divisive amongst us as people, right? And specifically, I'm talking about Black and brown people and how we are allowing these people, these forces, right, to keep us divided. And yes, they chose to go in a different direction, right? And there's conversations that need to be had around that. But I think one of the things that I'm seeing right now is, and my question is, how do we come to a place as people that are in this country that are taught to be divided amongst each other, right? That are taught to have this hate for one another. How do we stop that, right? Pull down the screen and block out all that noise and allow us to build a community together? Because we have to build a community together, whether we like it or not, whether they try to put themselves on a pedestal or not. We have to learn how to be in community with them, because that's the only way we are going to win this whole situation right now. They are showing you exactly who they are. They are showing you that they do not and will not want us to be in, they don't want us to be in community. And what I'm seeing right now is us building upon what they are trying to make us be, which is divided. And we have to stop for a minute and step back and say, okay, how can I change the narrative and flip it? I'm not, I don't, I understand the need for the F around and find out movement, right? I get that. I understand. But I think in a way where you have to get to a point of saying like, okay, yes, you made a bad choice, and that bad choice is leading to all these ramifications. But how do I now pull you as a person that's in this situation into seeing and wanting to see and in the fold of who we are and how we can do something as a collective? Because the more that we argue against each other, the easier it's going to be for them to keep this narrative going. And we need to stop it.
So,
We
so my
have to
question
stop it.
is, Jazzy, is now when you say we are, I mean, they are arguing or connect, there's this conflict with others or conflict between people. I need you to be more specific. Is it you? Do you mean the police officers with the community, or do you mean Black people against Spanish people, or do you mean what do you mean specifically?
Black people with Spanish people. Like we have to stop that. Black people with people of color as a collective, right? We understand as Black people that have been in this country that all the things that we are seeing, there is no surprises happening here. None of this is a surprise.
None of this is exactly.
Our families have been through these things. We were the people that got us to places that they could even come in and infiltrate that. And we acknowledge that and we can understand that. But also understanding in that they don't have that frame of reference that we do. In understanding that in order to get to a place where we can actually have communication with people, you have to sometimes, and it's not always on us as Black people, I'll say that, right? It's not always on us. They have to be open to it too. But I think sometimes we get to a place where we get to a place where we're just always closed-minded and closed off to the fact that, okay, and I get the frustration, right? I get the frustration.
Take your time. I mean, work out what's going on. I know you're feeling something, and you want to convey what you're feeling, and I know it. I know what you're saying, but I want to make sure that as people are listening to you, they understand what you're saying, so that way, they know. And I'm kind of like, I watched some footage over the weekend. And I watched one gentleman, he was crying and weeping because the kids and the ICE was taking away the child, the parent and all this stuff. But he's weeping and crying. But then the clue of the word was, I didn't vote for this. Well, hello, you did vote for it if you voted for Trump. And they didn't realize they didn't realize that it was going to happen to them. For some reason, they thought it was going to happen to the other Spanish people, but it wasn't going to happen to them. And then I noticed in the feeds, like what you're mentioning, that there were some people in the feed that were saying, man, you're giving them because obviously he's a Black Spanish, he's a Black Hispanic person. And they were saying, you're giving too much tears when these Spanish folks didn't give us those tears, and then think about us when they voted for Trump. And so you do have this undertone of Spanish against the Blacks, but where is it coming from? Is it coming from individuals, or is it people that are being planted in these circles that are causing these underlying unrest between two parties, or is it a combination of the two? I'm going to ask Elise now.
Yeah, Elise.
So Jazzy kind of touched on it. It's coming from the conditioning.
The conditioning,
right? Where and I always have to go back to Cass. It comes from all of the groups that have come into the U.S. being told that the lowest of the low are Black Americans. That's the root of it. That's the core of where it's coming from. And that they're lazy, don't want to do all these things. And then you have to look at, even within these countries, they have issues based on complexion. They have colorism within their countries as well. So all of that plays a part in it. And then to constantly being told, being kind of conditioned to think that somehow you're gonna benefit from this more. And this particular group of people, Black people in particular, Black American people, haven't done anything, when in actuality they don't. That all of the access that they have is because of the actions, the protests, the policy pushing that Black Americans have done over the centuries. Like, I want people to understand, first civil rights things come out in the 1800s. So we're not just talking about 1965. We have to go back to when the first one came out in the 1800s, and understand what that is. And then we also have to, they have the people in the mouthpieces that are out there who are pushing the narrative. Mm-hmm. And as you and we may say, oh, it's just certain people, but if you go out into the community,
yes,
in your local communities, and you feel it, you feel that friction out there. And so within schools, school buildings, all over the place, because they're not actually bringing them together and helping people understand that we're all in the same bucket.
Yes.
Somehow they have gotten people to think that they're not in the same bucket, particularly those who are whiter in skin tone, particularly that group of people. And what they didn't think about, because they kept thinking, oh, they're going to go after violent criminals, they're going to do all this stuff, but they didn't understand that at the end of the day, criminality to this group of people, this administration, is you're here illegally, and now they stepped up and told them that we want you to arrest. We want you arrest at least 3,000 people. Mm. They've given them. Stephen Miller has put out a quota out there.
Yes,
because they want the numbers to be bigger, because they've told the world that this number is so huge, but the number is not, quote unquote, what people think. They're just going to get the violent people out of our communities. Did you really think you had that many violent people in your community, and you didn't realize that 50% or more of the people working for you were in the minds of these people, criminals, yes, because they had come here, quote unquote, illegally. Even if their ancestors, even if some of the people in administration, their ancestors came here illegally or whatever, they don't care, because they are, quote unquote, white. And so that's the part that they didn't get. And now people are understanding. And I can understand the reluctance on the Black American side sometimes, because we spent a lot of time trying to say it online.
We warned you.
And you could go back and look at time after time, not just the people, the Don Lemons or the Reese Colbert, but everyday people like us were saying the same things about what we were reading. Yes. And trying to tell them, and they're like, oh no, it's not us. And then, we're gonna have special provisions, but there aren't any special provisions. It's just that group of people. And they don't. And now you understand that when they're standing at outside of a delivery room, mm-hmm, waiting for a mother to have her child,
yes,
take her child and then detain her. Mm. The point is cruelty.
It's about the point is the cruelty.
The point is the cruelty. The point is a misguided interpretation of what power is. This is not power. This is not power. This is just plain old cruelty. This is being evil to people, and at the end of the day, also self-destructive. Mm. I and Jazzy, we've talked about this before. There was one influencer who's been saying, when are you all going to understand we need to be sick one day? All of American workers need to just be sick. Just don't show up. Because they're not going to understand the power of the collective. And really, you're talking about all, like, if all Black and brown people, all non-white people got together and to decide that tomorrow we are not going to go work, it would shut the entire country down. It'll bring it to a screeching halt because we haven't yet shown them our value. And then we have to figure out, how do you have the conversations? Because, when people like Fred Hampton started having that conversation and started making shows with the Latino community and poor white community, he was killed. So it's not like people hadn't made the effort. It's how do you do it?
Yes.
And it be respected, and how do you get the people together, and so that the call isn't saying, where are the Black people now? No, the conversation, Black people show up because we've had conversation, we built relationships, and there's a mutual respect there, and not the expectation that Black people are going to save the day when you don't even credit the Black people with being responsible for you having the opportunity, the sheer opportunities for you to be here, period. The birthright is because of us.
Yes.
They don't understand.
The amendments.
Right.
13, 14, 15 is because of us.
Right. They don't understand the so many rights that they have.
The history.
Access to do the things that they do in America is because we fought for that. Even the access for them to be able to go to different colleges and universities is because Black legislators and everyday people fought for it. And I think how do we get that message to each other is going to be critical. How do leadership, whatever people are out there who are in the realm of, in that realm, how do they start having joint conversations so that people start seeing it and start seeing the unity and not just a call to reaction when things happen, but a proactive coalescence of people coming together and starting to build a coalition, which is what they're afraid of. They're afraid that we will come together. So they keep things to keep dividing us, and they will plant seeds out.
Yes, they did it. They did back in the 60s. They do it all the time.
They're doing it now.
And
Black Lives Matter. Same thing.
And I think that's why when I look at what's happening right now online, I think it's one of those things where it's like, we need to be careful how we speak about it. Because I do think there's something that can happen too, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do, right? You can't say you want to be a collective community or try to build a collective community while also shaming those same people that you want to collect. Right. There has to be a moment of self-realization where you're like, hey, like, we messed up on some things. You all messed up on some things. We both have things to learn in this situation, and we are not always right, and they are not always wrong, right? And vice versa, right? You can only come from the frame of reference that you have. So if I came into this country and I didn't have these barriers, I do not know what it's like to have those barriers, right? So why would I understand that this was so hard for you to fight for, right? And even if we're screaming from the rooftops, like, why can't you see us? Why can't you hear what we're saying? We have to step back and acknowledge, like, hey, wait, why can't they see what we're talking about? Because all of what Elise was saying was true, right? All of this, the reason why they are even here is because of us, right? But we also have to acknowledge that when you have an easy footing in the door, when the door is already open, you're not noticing the person that's standing there holding the door open for you. You don't have to. You can walk in that door with blinders on. Instead of saying a thank you, you can just walk in, because sometimes you're just like, well, I don't have any barriers because it's already open and everything's there for me. The conditioning part of it is what is so good about how America operates, right? Like that's one of the things that we're good at. That's why you had people from Germany coming to America to learn our systems, because there's something that we do that they understand. Sorry, I'm trying to fix something. But there's something that we do that they cannot, they couldn't do in their own countries. They couldn't figure it out. And I think sometimes it's kind of like we have to step back and out of our own egos, right? Because we have an ego too. And it's not to say it's misplaced, because we earned it. So I want to be clear about that. Like, we earned that, But I think that it's one of those things where it's like we all have to step back and say, okay, how do we have this conversation in a way where we can really hear each other and not talk past each other? Because the reason why these other groups can swoop them up and collect them up and make them believe something is because their whole thing is, we just know we don't want to be them. So because I know we don't want to be them, I'm going to go over here with these people.
No.
Instead of saying like, hey, if we are all in it together, we could all have something. We can all equally share things. They understand how to divide us, and we allow them to divide us.
Right.
And that's just the truth.
And that's the truth. And that is
Yeah.
the exact truth.
And there's too many loud voices, especially on these platforms, right? And I like hearing some of the voices, right? But we have to stop just saying, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. So at a certain point, it's kind of like, wait, no, stop. Like, what is it that we want to see as a collective? Because if I'm always yelling at you and you're always yelling at me, we're not going to get anywhere. We're just not. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to step back and just say, hey, I'm wrong, or I'm misunderstood. And even I learned in that, right? Like, I'm not always right, but I have to step back sometimes and like think about it and say, okay, like, oh, I hear what you were saying. It may not be in that moment, but it still is there. But we don't allow each other time to process. We're just always pointing at each other and not allowing the conversation to actually happen. So
I love this, what Anthony's saying. And we all know this is to be true. They learned the good and the bad from America.
Exactly.
Hitler was inspired by Jim Crow. Black America inspired the world.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. I mean, that's the reality of it. Hitler
learned the good and the bad.
How to treat the propaganda that he could use against people in Germany. From looking at the propaganda Americans were using against Black America, the United States was, and I'm starting to say United States because there's South America and Canada.
That's right.
More than just the United States is not only America, but they learned from the United States how to use that propaganda, how to put that message out, which is the part that for us, particularly for Black Americans, is that so much propaganda has been put out there about who we are, what we do, and what we're capable of doing. That people don't often research it. I mean, when I went to UDC, and one of the people I met there was a guy. He was from Sudan, and he was saying, he was trying to talk to Black women. He was like, "Man, this is hard." And I said, "Well, why did you think it was easy?" He said, "Because over there, we are told Black women are easy. Black women are promiscuous." And then they found out they're the hardest ones to even try to get that close to, because we like, no, that's not how we're living. But that's the impression that they were given. So whatever literature and things they get, they internalize that. So when they see us, they're surprised, number one, that that's not who we are. And then they still, in their minds, because we definitely have to admit within that the culture that they have their own system of racism that also plays a part in it as well. Because they may not, you have Black Hispanics. We have Black Hispanics in DC, and you don't know they're Spanish until they start speaking. Those people, they're not all being treated the same way by Hispanics themselves, because and you see it all the time in New York as well. So we have to all understand that they count on us being divided. Yes. Because in actuality, non-white people outnumber white people in the world.
Exactly. And I always say, you bring up something, if I might interject, this has been my pet peeve for the last year and a half, almost 2 years. And I guess maybe because I've been, looking at the world in a different way. We are not the minority.
Right.
We in this country have been told we're the minority. Now, we may be technically a minority, maybe in America, in the United States. But we are not the minority. People that are Caucasian are the minority. They are the minority to the rest of the world. Most of the world are people of color. Most of the world, billions of people of color. People of India alone, what is 1 billion people? Color. India alone. So we are not the anomaly. We are not the folks that are those are people of color. No, people of color are the majority of the world population.
Right.
Caucasian people, and it's not to be negative to Caucasian people, but it's just bringing the facts. Caucasian people are the minority. They are the global minority.
Yeah.
And first, if we can really harness that as our community here in America, in different parts of the world, because even in places around the world, Black people feel like Africans feel like, whoa, we're the minority. But we forget that we are connected to a big continent.
Absolutely.
Right? We were brought here through slavery. We were stolen through slavery. And then later on, people came here by their will. Right. But we're all connected to a huge continent of Africans.
Yeah.
And they are no way in the minority globally.
But so you have to look at the propaganda that keeps them in power. They use it. They keep us divided because they know that's what keeps them in power. If we were to unite if we could sit down and come up with this unified front with people, even if I look at DC, if blacks and Hispanic united in DC, it could be a whole different world. It could be different, very different. And then they don't understand the things that they're going to, like, they haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg of what they're going to lose. They're in the streets protesting so that people don't get deported. But at the same time, there are executive orders and legislation that's out there that's taking everything away from you. And access for your children to have certain things in education, right? So all those things are being done at the same time. And a large part of the distraction. So the whole thing in California, out in LA for me, is what he said. He said it out of to be able to humble or take the control of these blue states.
Yes, that's what he said.
He said it out of his mouth. Not somebody making it up. You can go find him saying
yes,
that.
He said he wants to take over the blue states.
Right. So LA is the testing ground, right? What will happen if we actually tried to do this? What would these states and cities do? How would they respond if we did that? And so they respond when they saw this. It was really the agitation, because the people were just coming out protesting. So they needed to bring those forces in to agitate them, because was it that, Ron and you and I talked about this. Why did the first thing you see are FBI agents dressed like in military uniforms with FBI on their backpacks with long guns? Like, why was that? Why was that necessary? Show? And it's always this big production where all of the vehicles are flying down the street and they're jumping out on people and dragging them out of places. All of these things are happening, and you just have to figure it out. And there are Black people in California, in LA, who kind of step forward, because they tried to go into a Black barbershop. I don't know if you've seen that video.
No, I didn't see that.
And they had one man that had handcuffs outside, and the community came and was like, hold up, wait a minute. What did he do? And then some of them walked in, 2 police officers walked inside the barbershop, and he said, why are you in there? Do you have a warrant? And so they went in out and they told them they had to get out. And they put the police out of there.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I think in this moment that we also have to understand. This just is not about Hispanic immigrants.
Right.
Yes.
It's not.
Exactly. Agreed.
I know that's what's being propped up, but they are coming for the Black immigrants too. And we need to understand that, because when they say, hey, these countries on this list and you cannot come and we have banned you from this list, Haiti being one of them, We are Black. They don't know if I'm Haitian. If I walk down the street, I can be a Black Haitian to them. They don't know.
Right.
So I think we need to stop spreading this narrative too that it's only about Hispanic people, because it very much is not.
Oh, it's
There
not
are
everybody, but it's definitely
there
about Black folks. Yeah.
It's Black and Hispanic people. That's why I
Yes.
say, like, conversations that I'm seeing online, sometimes I'm like, I need us to stop pretending like they're only going after Hispanic people, because that is not the truth.
And
They're going
also, if I may
after
interject,
Black and brown immigrants.
but they're not only just going after I mean, even though yes, that is the evident part of it all, but it is also the unspoken. They're going after poor white people too. They're going after everyone that is not like them.
But
You know,
but
that's
my
the
whole thing is, my whole thing is, oh, go ahead.
To your point, don't you wonder why what you see in the media and even on social media hasn't talked about the number of Haitians that have been rounded up during this time? Because they have been. They've been rounded up as well, and they were doing it before. Haitians, and they were sending them back. So they've been doing that, but you don't really see it. Like, why aren't they showing the fact that it's happening to Black people who come to America? With Haitians.
It's the propaganda of it all. And that's why I think, for me, social media this weekend has really just irritated me, because I'm like, I think y'all are forgetting that this is not just about one group of people, right? It's about the collective of people, right? But in that collective, there are Black people, there are Hispanic people, there are Asian people, there are a whole host of people that they're trying to get rid of. But my biggest thing is, who do you think is going to do some of these jobs that you keep collecting these people off the street and letting them go? At a certain point, you're going to have to see the ramifications of what is about to happen, because if nobody's doing these jobs, everything is about to go sky high, because they're not going to have people to pick any of these vegetables. They're not going to have people to be out in some building your construction, your home prices about to go through roof. People don't understand the multiple ramifications. If you pay attention to what's going on in Florida and what happened after Governor DeSantis put in that law, and after the hurricane that they had last summer, they are having a hard time getting people to come back into the communities to fix. These are not the new homes, to fix the homes that were dismantled during that storm, because of the fact that they made a law that, I think it's like, if you hire immigrant workers, that, I can't remember the law specifically, so I don't want to say it because I don't want to be wrong. But it's basically like, if they are hired, then they can go on and like raid the site. But they are having a hard time. And Governor DeSantis got on the news. You can look this up. He got on the news and said, you can come back temporarily.
Right. Work for us. Like,
so they need to work.
Then they just raided a construction site down there.
Right. So it's just,
I don't care.
Yeah. You got to get to a point where we have to have honest conversations about what's really going on fully. And I think when we have these conversations, I think the first thing we can't do is just always criticize. There has to be a moment of reflection of saying, like, hey, seriously, what is it that you want to see and what is it that I want to see? Because they're arguing and just saying you suck and we suck, and that's not getting anywhere. That's not being productive. We're not even having a productive conversation. We're just going on and on in this loop of what we cannot do for each other, or why this person is bad and why that person is. No, after you have your haha, yeah, see what happened, like, cool. What are the solutions that we can come up with that we can fight against these people so that we don't have this problem? That's my whole thing. The solutions, we need to be solution oriented and stop. And I'm speaking to these bigger platforms too, because they are also in the scheme of being divisive, right? Yeah. Even when they are the ones that you agree with, it's still like you're being a part of the problem that you say you don't want to see. So we have to come up with a different way of communicating and having these conversations so that they're real, so that people can understand, like, now that we've had all that, we've said all that, what is the next move? How are we going to moving forward so that we can be out there? Because I'm gonna be honest, no, I don't recommend people of color to go out there and Black people to go out there and LA and protest because that's what they want.
That's
right?
what they want.
They're waiting for the Black people to show up so they can say, it's pretty crazy out here, right? Like
that's when they'll start using real bullets.
Right, exactly. So it's like, so now what is it that we can do to help this conversation and help people to actually proceed and actually so that we can be a collective and move on? Because I'm seeing too much of they're bad. No, what is the solution? And I'm not gonna lie. In this moment, I do not know the right solution and how to approach certain things. But I do think that having a conversation is something that is needed. And we have to calm down enough to have the conversation. So
yeah.
And I think you have to I think we need to make sure that we don't miss what they're testing during this time period, right?
Right.
Because I know a few weeks ago they talked about the possibility of these people not having to use any type of warrants.
And they want to get rid of the warrant.
Whole thing online where people have been talking
Steve Miller. That was from Steve Miller, I do believe.
Talking back and forth to me because I said after they went into that congressional office, I said Americans need to pay attention. That's all I said because they're talking. So they want to get the right so that they can start coming into anyone's home, your home, my home, and it's not going to be about they're immigrants. They're going to say, Jack, heard you were harboring someone up in this apartment, so I'm just coming to your apartment. They're going to be doing that's what they're really setting up. They're setting up all of these things, and as you can see, where is the Congress saying anything? The Republican Congress is saying zero. And while this is happening, the Supreme Court has given them some rights to some data they shouldn't have, right?
Social Security.
So, but the part of Social Security data they could not get.
Yes, they couldn't get, but now they can have it.
And now they're saying they have to get to. So, there's lots of things that we need to be prepared for.
There's a lot tumbling down.
To know, as Chris was saying, we need to know when the actors are in there, because in all of these things, sometimes, and we know it happened when Black Lives Matter, there are people who will influence. And they'll set things up so that it looks as if the peaceful protesters are the ones that are doing it.
Yes.
So we have to be aware of that because it's happened before. And I know Chris was talking about what they did in Nazi Germany, but we also have Woodrow Wilson, which we changed the name of our high school from here, who showed Birth of a Nation, where they had white people in black faces, and that resulted in the reinsurgence of the Klan in America, in the United States. So they've used different things, film and propaganda and all those things to kind of agitate people. And you hear more and more people saying, are you armed? Are you ready? Because it's going to be a civil war. And I was like, okay, how we can sit here and say that, and who are we going to fight with, and who are we fighting against? So that we need to, as Jazzy say, how do we plan for that? And I don't know. Now, how do the voices go from? I want us to get to the point, and I think Reese Colbert has been trying to get there. I want us to get to the point where we're talking about what we've been distracted from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so she'll say this is happening, but let me tell you what else is done. Let me tell you about the how they're doing reconciliation of how they do of the bill. So she's focusing on what's actually happening. We need to know what that looks like, and we also need to know, people out there who have the information, give people information on how to react, how to prepare, and know that if you are a person of color, and we saw hundreds of thousands of white people protesting all over this country, without the police in riot gear and all that. And now you got rubber bullets, you got smoke grenades, you have bear spray, you have everything, right? And the thing is, we know as Black people that we go out there, those bullets for some reason are not going to be rubber.
Yeah.
We won't get all of that.
There's going to be a oopsie. I didn't mean to hit you with the oops. My bad.
Well, I'm going to square this. I'm going to end this conversation, but I just wanted to throw it out there. And but this is something to be keeping our eye on. And Elise brought up and shared exactly what was said. This is the beginning to go after the blue states.
Mm-hmm.
The blue states. So think about that. and he said it. So
Which
this
doesn't
in
make any
California,
sense.
you know, the old saying is, if you do it in California, then California's always been the test spot. It's like,
Yeah.
if you change the laws here, then it's gonna, what happens in California will happen to the rest of the country.
Right.
So think about what's going on. Keep your eyes on the news, but mostly, like what I'm saying, Elise was saying, is that we also need to, with all of these distractions, there's a reason. There's always these outward distractions because they're doing something in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be looking for the dark, what's going on behind the scenes. And even like this weekend, I know they're coming up to the 14th, and I know that there's all these long trains with armor tanks and stuff lined up to go into DC. Just my opinion. I don't have any facts, and I don't have any, but I'm feeling like this is a way to get those tanks and stuff into the DC area. And some of those tanks are not leaving. Just a thought.
They put them in front.
We don't know. But it's a thought.
Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the White House.
It's a thought. I sat there and said, I mean, first of all, why do you have tanks coming into DC? Why do you have all of this armor coming into DC under the cloak? I'm considering it the cloak or the Trojan horse of a parade.
And
just saying,
the amount of money they're preparing our streets with, they're putting metal plates on turns.
I was about to say that. I literally I was like, you would not, if you drive that tank down the street, if you want to, you'd be in the sinkhole. Like, what? No, what?
Yeah, they put metal plates out.
So they put, see, I'm not even in DC. They're putting metal plates out on the street so they can get these tanks in.
Right.
And I'm just like, all of this for a buffoon that wants to seem like he is a emperor or something, or some,
I think
dictator.
I think people should read the oath that presidents and military have to take when they actually do their oath. I think people should go research that and read it. Like
read. Yes, because you stand before to protect the people.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
So they're painting the domestics as the problem. He said the enemy, he's used it over and over again, the enemy within.
But I bring that up because for me, I'm like, and we know there's the powers that be and the crazies that are in charge. But I bring that up because I'm like, there has to be a level of, there's a point in after the election where I was really thinking, right? Like, because a lot of what Biden said and a lot of what Kamala was saying was, there's this enemy and he's going to do all these bad things. And one of the things that really, we'll say, kind of aggravated me was we knew this was going to happen, right? They knew this was going to happen. And the protections and the safeguards, for me, I'm like, you just going to hand the country over to a crazy person? And I understand, but at the same time, I'm like, something about that, I'm like, we knew he was crazy. We know he's crazy. Y'all sat here for 2 years and told us that this man was going to do craziness and is crazy and is dismantling our country. And y'all were just like, here are the keys. There's something weird to me about that. And I don't
because people are asleep. Most Americans, unfortunately,
but it's not asleep. I'm not saying like the Americans. I'm saying the people that were telling us that. Because you're right, Americans are asleep. But the people that were in charge, you the ones that were in charge were like, here you go. There's something about
that. Now if I was Biden, I would have used everything the Supreme Court gave me and said, this man's not coming into office. No way. I'm not doing it. You know why? Because he is a security threat to the nation. We are not letting this man win the election. I'm the president, and you just gave me the right to do it. But That's another subject for another day.
Exactly.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
As soon as they said that, I would have had him locked up.
That's right. I would have locked him up immediately and said, "Okay, I'm the president." And
Right.
but the Democrats and you know how I feel about the Democrats. I'm an independent, but the Democrats don't have the ability to get out of the box. They can't reimagine, and they should immediately, as soon as the Supreme Court gave the Democrats an open door to do what they wanted to do.
Right, they did.
But the Democrats were like, we got to stick to policy. We got to stick to the rules. When these idiots, they don't care about the rules. And the Democrats have to stop bringing sticks and stones to a machete and machine gun fight.
Yeah. That was my only
anyway, next subject. Gotta leave y'all. Ladies, I gotta let y'all go. Thank you for joining me. Bye. So yeah, I can talk about that subject. I'm just like, the Democrats just don't have the imagination. I would have definitely, when the Supreme Court said the president has full control, full rights to do what he wants to do, I would have stopped Trump, period. Just stopped him. But no, they couldn't reimagine. Anyway, I wanted to share something from yesterday. Yesterday was awesome, and this was great. And then we're going to do our Motivation Monday quote for the day, for the week. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Watch this. Look at what we have here. And look who I stumbled upon, who may be in the audience still, but here we go. And so yesterday, I was out at Photoville. And I got, first of all, Saturday, I got to meet so many of our other photographers. You'll catch that. This is on our YouTube channel, so you can check all the clips from Photoville from yesterday and today. Sorry, yesterday and Sunday, yesterday and Saturday, and check this out. This is really cool. And this is his work over here on the wall. Jamel is always trying to play it down. He is always trying to play it down. And then it's my neighbors. Andy, yeah, dog. Where's the little one? Oh, so you guys say let's. Yes. This is the family reunion every year. Family photographer reunion. Yes. Yes, sir.
How you, brother?
Ron, what's going on?
Yeah.
And you're on.
I'm part of the magazine.
Oh! I gotta give you a hug. Nice. Yes. I came over yesterday and I filmed all of Jamel's work, and I did some interviews from yesterday. And I'm just following. I do this every year. Usually, I am working with Photoville, and but this year I took time off so that way I can really enjoy it. And now that I have a YouTube channel,
That's what I'm saying.
I want to make sure I bring.
Right on.
Did you get me? Oh, she got me. She got me. There she goes.
Right on.
So you part of magazine? Yes.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? What's new? What are you doing?
Well, this is one of the things.
First of all, do you mind being on camera?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are one of the things, collaboration with me and Jamel with Photoville, which is an extension of our book coming out, Albee Square Mall in downtown Brooklyn, 1980 to 1990, celebrating 50 years of Jamel Shabazz photography.
Yes.
The book being a Photoville exhibition. And right now, currently, if you can pan your camera and put it on this gentleman right here.
Yes, this gentleman.
He's shooting our documentary.
Oh, excellent.
This is a documentary that he's putting together. Yeah, that he's doing.
Awesome.
Experience. Yeah.
And what's your handle? And what's your name and handle?
It's Art Badwa and Murray Films. I know that's a mouthful.
No, that's good. It's recorded, so we can always repeat. You can always replay if we don't get it the first time.
Definitely. Art Badwa and Murray Films.
Awesome.
So we're collaborating with Ethos to Form with Jonathan, and as brother you spoke to already, you run the Carter magazine.
Yes, and now put your put both of you, because you have two Instagrams, right?
I have Carter Magazine, I'll Be Square Mall, and DNA America on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm always connecting with these guys online, Instagram,
Right on.
and
I appreciate your work. You know, doing the things you always showing up for Jamel, and Jamel introduced me to you through Instagram. He said, "Yo, this is a good brother. He's doing some work." And Jamel was sending me personally stuff through Carter Magazine and DM. He's like, check it out, you know, promote it on your stories if you could. I said, I got you, say less. Because Carter Magazine is named after Dr. Carter J. Woodson, founder of Black History.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we launched February 1st of 2011. So we're in our 14 years.
Wow.
Just made a partnership with Great Television.
Okay.
And so we're the first social business on broadcast network that's promoting our history.
Yes.
You know, so we controlling the narrative of what it is, but we also, most importantly, is building community. So for me to share knowledge and information is about building that community for us.
Yes.
So we can do things socially, economically in our communities. So it's not about what we do. It got to start with I do. So if I don't do anything, that means we ain't happy.
Well, you know, the whole thing is also with that same philosophy. Unless you love yourself, you can't love others.
Right on.
So you got to be able to love yourself. You got to embrace what you are, what you mean to the world. And if you can embrace what you mean to the world, then you're going to embrace those that are doing things in the world.
Absolutely. So as we look, if I could take you real quick.
Yes, take you through it.
As we look here,
yes,
soul curation.
Mm-hmm.
Opening Jamel's book on back in the day.
Yes.
Before crack. For me, that was the inspiration because I was introduced to it in 1999. And so in 1999, I was introduced to Jamel back in the day book. And when I realized and opened it, I was like, wow, I was naming people. That's Panama. Yo, that's Carol. That's this person. Like, who is Jamel Shabazz? And so the ironic thing about it, it was Danny Simmons who introduced me to Jamel 5 years later, because I was doing a documentary on Black Wall Street.
Wow.
And Danny Simmons was in it as well. So when I got to meet Jamel, we started talking. I was like, wait, you were the brother when I first went downtown Brooklyn as a kid in 82. Because my mother took me shopping inside Albee Square Mall. And we was going to Buster Brown because I had to get a pair of
Yes, I used to go to Buster Brown's downtown too.
Get a pair of penny loafers and kangaroos.
Yes.
So before we entered the building, his brother was out there shooting people, but I didn't know. It made, as a kid at 7, it made me feel like this must be an important place.
Yes.
The person be taking photos of people as we enter the building. So that's where, for me, it was the curiosity of wanting to learn more about downtown Brooklyn.
Yes.
So fast forward, not even knowing I met Jamel as a kid, to having the opportunity to own the name out in Square Mall, and then now collaborate with Jamel to do this not only photo film, but our book and his first documentary that's done by these brothers here, Darren and Jonathan. So Jamel is taking it to the level of following what Gordon Parks was doing with his own personal. And for me to be the archive in Carter Magazine to curate this exhibition that we have here, have our book collaboration along with the documentary. We're just pushing it forward. We're just trying to help our people to build community, redefine it, and be in a place of economically and social stability when we want to grow together. It's I to influence we.
Man.
Right on. You know, Ron, and I support your work, man. You already know I love what you do. You give light to all those creatives that are out there exposing the talent and who we are. And to me, that's more important than anything, to stay back and just focus on what you do. Bring light to what other people's doing. I appreciate you, brother, for that.
Well, I love it. I love celebrating others.
Right on.
I can always do my photography in the still of the night.
Right on.
I can do that. And I got all this new stuff that's coming up.
Right on.
But this is so important that I like that I have a platform. Look, I just started this platform a year and a half ago. And I am excited about, I'm looking forward to the day that is every day I'm interviewing photographers, because there's so many of us that need to be highlighted. And there's so many people that are doing all kinds of photography and work and behind the scenes cinema photography, portrait photography, landscape photography. It's so, but in the Black community and people of color, they do not get those celebrations.
Absolutely.
And there are very few platforms to interview them
Absolutely.
and to share. And the great thing about YouTube is that YouTube is a categorized, or I should say it's a catalog that if you put someone's name in, if they've ever been interviewed by me, if I'm the only interview, then guess what? If you put their name inside the YouTube or in Google, that interview is going to come up.
Right on.
So that means the more we can support our people, support photographers, I think we'll be in a better place as photographers as a community.
I concur.
Man,
Support, brother.
well, I love what you guys put together
thank you,
here.
brother.
I was here
Thank you.
yesterday,
Okay.
and I went through these, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is my childhood!"
Yes,
and
yes,
you look at all these. So
Look
now,
at it, man.
how did you guys select these photos? So they have you here.
Yeah. So I just wanted to give an essence of, what it was like during the decade of the 80s.
Yes.
Going downtown Brooklyn. So I could break down each one.
Yeah, come on,
So
give it to me.
It was the early 80s. This was my first experience going downtown. So Albee Square Mall was developed and made in 77.
Yeah.
So the years after, they was working on how to, remodel and make it, walkable, pleasing, and attractive downtown. So this was the construction stage where they was repaving the ground.
Yes, I remember it. I remember it.
80s.
Yes.
My first experience of coming downtown Brooklyn, this has captured that.
Yes.
Coming out, and there was construction.
I remember the construction.
I was like, wow, we had to go over plank.
It went, yes.
The street.
And the wood planks.
Correct, exactly.
Been rain.
Yeah, so that represents that. And this photo right here.
Yes.
Right here represents the aftermath of when everything was completed.
All right.
People to get the feel were like you were shopping, and this is what Jamel was in his prime.
Yes.
Again, brothers and sisters, to stop for a minute and compliment them on how they look and
yes.
stuff. Because when you got media with a depiction of us in a negative way, in a negative light all the time, Jamel wanted to show the opposite.
Yes.
To show beauty and love and happiness and show how fly we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This takes you in these essence of these moments of Jamel having these brothers and sisters and capturing it in a positive way.
And I was sitting here, when I saw this yesterday, I was like, oh, there's my radio. I had a Panasonic. I had the Panasonic, and I was with my friends, and we used to hang out at Albee Square Mall, and it became the joke that it was the welfare mall. But it was our mall, because we, outside the suburbs, people had their malls. But we didn't have a mall for us.
Right on.
And our Albee Square Mall was our mall.
It was our mall, exactly.
Man.
So like we're doing that, and when you see a shot of y'all, when you see the couple right now,
yes,
that's showing family.
Yes.
During the time when on the news, he was constantly saying stuff negative about us. What I'm saying? Where we live is not, no well-good conditions. Maybe the father is behind prison, so the woman would be a single mother.
Yes.
It represents family. During a time it was really rough and hard. You understand what I'm saying? So when we came up with this curation and what it is, I wanted to define the beauty in all of us, because Jamel captured that essence. So he takes you through a timeline.
Yes.
Even with cats coming from school.
Oh yeah, this is us coming from Rothschild and Sarah J. Hill, Brooklyn Tech. Yes.
So that's the essence there. You know what I'm saying?
So here we are. I just wanted to share that with you guys. And it was absolutely, you can check out the rest of it and on the actual video from yesterday's time. And there's some great treats, some other folks that was able to interview. And it was a great day yesterday and a great day on Saturday. Thank you, Photoville, for putting on a presentation as you always do. The Photoville folks have new t-shirts, they have new merch. So check out Photoville. It'll be there to the 22nd of June. And when you're down there, make sure you check out Jamel Shabazz's. They gave him a lot of real estate this year. Usually he's in the container, but they gave him a lot of real estate. And it was really beautiful to see that they really support 50 years of Jamel Shabazz's photography. And thank you to all the people that participated, and I was able to interview yesterday. Yeah. Are you guys still with me? Are you guys in the building? If you're still here, let me know you're in the building. So I don't see the chat just froze. It's just stopped. I don't know if you guys are here. Are you guys are just listening? Are you guys are just whatever? What are you doing? Usually I see the comments moving, but the comments just froze. And so anyway, let's get to our wonderful Motivation Monday. Let's get ready for our Motivation Monday, and then we're going to be out of here. We are going to do that. Here we go. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Wrong button. It is our Motivation Monday, and I want to close it out with these last thoughts. Here we go. And today's Motivation Monday is, and let me just get that up there nice. Oops, is that too big? It's just right. We're going to get that right in there. Okay, here we go. And today's motivation is capture the moment. Capture the moment. And let's go. Let's go. Capture the moment. This Motivation Monday is both based on the quote from Linda McCartney. That is Paul McCartney's wife. She is a photographer. And it says, if you see something that moves you and then snap it, you keep a moment. If you see something that moves you and then snap it, you keep a moment. Photography is more than composition, lighting, or technique. It's about feeling. The beauty of spontaneous photography is that it allows us to preserve moments that might otherwise slip away. A fleeting smile, a quiet reflection, the way light catches a subject just right. These moments we intuitively recognize as special. This week, trust your instincts, photographers. If you have a camera, you are a photographer. If something moves you, capture it. The magic isn't in perfection, but in preserving what speaks to you. This week's action thought: what moments have you caught that were purely instinct? Drop them in the comments this week and let us all know. But again, it's all in the moment. Don't just think I need perfection to be the photographer I dream of being. Just take your camera, snap something special. Know that your photo snapping is going to preserve that moment in memory. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have an amazing week and do something wonderful, do something special. And yeah, that's it, y'all. Oh, wait, I forgot to do my announcements, right? Okay, let me do those real quick. Okay, again, if you want to be on our email list, just go to ronlewisphotos.com, put your name on the email list so that way we can communicate with you beyond the internet. And also, if you know someone that's looking for an event photographer, I am an event photographer. I photograph events. That includes commercial, that means corporate, that even means journalistic events. Journal events are events, and I photograph those. And also a great thank you to our wonderful Patreon members who support this community. Your support helps us create amazing content. Those are the folks that pay monthly to this platform, whatever they can afford, to help us be who we are on these online streets. Okay, so make sure that if you're not a Patreon member, become a Patreon member. And all you do is go to patreon.com and put in Ron Lewis Photos. Okay, I think we got it all in. We're all in and ready to go. Hopefully, in the next couple of days, I'll be back in my studio area. And but until tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow's our Tip Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. Take care, guys. Later.